Let's dance, brother. Let's get our chemist out here on the front lines here for a second. That statement's going to be important for later. Like I said, I think he lost a finger to it. But we're talking about fluvium, the 114th element. Generally, you take the bones of a structure. This is a little bit of fusion, a whole bunch of chemistry, all kinds of engineering. Where Carl Sagan universe law is going to be important. The Penrose numbers on the field theory and wave functions, collapse differential stuff, overlapping and polarizing, oscillating, reciprocal. Fy over x. You can turn anything into anything with anything, in time and space, and turn it over for values on distended amp limits. About, well, how this is super important for later and some of the stuff I'm about to do. Check this shit out. Okay, so go ahead, brother.
Флорёв Георгий Николаевич создал институт, где открыли элемент 114. И название этого элемента его памятник.
You two tell me my life.
Brady and I are so excited that element 114 has finally
so
got
this
its
is super important
name,
stuff. Like I said,
that we felt that I should
calcium,
try and say a few words
I generally
Russian,
play for the bones.
because my father was born in Russia.
I generally play
We've
for the
already
bones.
made 2 videos
Potential
about
timepiece.
the discovery of this element.
This
First
is
of
Carl.
all,
This is
how
an
the
element. What I put in the
discovery
stone
was
mill
confirmed and
is
people
the
really
bones of the
established
multi-matrix
that
there,
114 had
right?
been made.
So that's calcium,
And then
and I'm
the
also
first time that the
plutonium.
name
It's going to be
was
important for later.
mentioned
Kind of
at the
radioactive
end of
heat,
the
like the town.
2011
Gamma,
International Year
alpha,
of Chemistry.
beta on.
So what's new?
Yeah, eat it, sit down,
And
and throw it out
what's
the window.
new is that on the 30th of May
All right.
this
So,
year,
anyways, in there you can make a collision
the
of these
element's
things
name
with constant
was officially
reciprocals
adopted,
across
and
the stone mill
therefore
floor,
we
right?
can make a new
You know,
video
common
to
shots
go
of
in our
things sending
periodic
down the
table
pipes.
videos.
Make
So
it
this
a
is
paycheck
the
in this
official
form,
video
which is the
of
money
the
sound.
element, depending
Macro
whether
to the
you say it with
micro.
a Russian accent
You know what
or not.
physics is when you
It's
get over to
called
the Hadron Collider
or
is to make it go
fluorodium.
one. Hadron Collider. Now,
Element
when you figure that out,
114.
you might be
There
able
is
to
no
augment that
official
system
periodic table
one.
in the same way
And
that
if you
there's a
do
standard kilogram.
anything,
But when a name is suggested, such as the name
but it plays
fluorodium,
off in different
suggested
time and
in
cost
December
and
last year,
actions at spooky
then
distances,
people are allowed a few
superposition.
months to point out if
Oh
there are any
yeah,
problems.
because you would have known
In the
FMA if
case
you
of
graphed it.
element
If we miss it
112,
anywhere in here, just the big
the
nasties
symbol
explodes
was changed
and
from
just rains
CP
wrenches
to
everywhere.
CN
AR-15
during this
in the
discussion
boot
period.
camp, right? You know, how do you put
In
it
the
back
case of
together?
fluorodium, nothing has
We're
changed.
talking about some heavy duty
And
costs.
the element
Now,
symbol is F,
like I said,
L,
calcium,
big F, little
heavy
L.
particle, light
Though in some
particle,
fonts, it
calcium,
looks like F1,
plutonium.
which is possibly a problem.
Eventually, if you
Now,
smash
like
enough a bunch of
the
times,
other
it turns into
super
this,
heavy elements,
which is like a
these
leady,
elements
kind of
are
squishy, an
synthesized
amalgamation
by
between
taking the
gold and
nucleus
copper. But see how they're
of a
different?
heavy
Now
element,
set up the amalgamation of the
atom of a
dentistry
heavy
and those gold fillings
and
being
banging into it an
the
element
proper
that is lighter.
the proper differential
And
to keep you
so in
alive
this
and not
case,
dead in
we
IH
take
noticing the
plutonium,
smallest
which
distance.
is element 94, and to make a
Super critical for some other stuff I want to do here.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh, I played a game.
So much like we have different shaped aircrafts and fighter
This is
jets and
super
cars, they probably have different shapes of
R
these
Star was apparently through
objects
his
that
thing.
operate
Later on, you
under
find out
similar principles.
at one point in
Right,
time,
but
a
they all
binary
have
star
the same
system.
power source.
And it's super
Galaxy
important to
powers. And
reactions,
we're
how much
also
it would be
dealing with-
common.
If you think about
Uh,
the laws of
the
technological
science,
progression,
these
you know,
spectrums
think
of
Moore's
stars,
law,
because
and you
there's
think
not
of
just a
how
Goldilocks
things accelerate.
zone of
You
that.
gotta think that if
There's
this
the Goldilocks
civilization
zone of what's
is
going to be
who knows how many
practical
years
to the
more
human
advanced than
need
we are,
before it
if not
is
even years.
unrealistic
we're
to
thinking about in terms of conventional
Grayley
terms,
and
right?
Lunchline
The
this
way we
thing
look at the world.
into the peanut butter and jelly
They
sandwich
might
that
be
make
just
for it, you know, that
superior in terms of their
super
intellect.
condensed,
They've gotta
heavy,
be,
and
maybe,
rich
but we don't know, right?
Well, the only reason
Stanford
I
class of the stone mill,
say
right?
that
Because that's the
is
Hadron
because-
Collider. It's the Hyperloop. It's the
Look, everyone
YBCO
doesn't
on the
necessarily
differential.
start at a steam
We make the
engine,
collision to
right, and
make
go to an
that
internal combustion engine,
aspect
and
be
then,
the final
electric
result
power, nuclear power, and
as
go
the
up the ladder
green
that we
kind of
Right.
zero
come out.
carbon, all the free
binary- if
radiance
the
out of
stuff is
those
true about the
psychological
origin of the
is a
binary
factor
star
where
system, and they
FMA
have
pops
heavier
up,
elements
stress,
that we don't
heat,
have. And this element
serviceability,
stable element 115 is a naturally
tall
occurring
horse,
material.
white horse, pretty horse over
Maybe that's
the
first thing we
gravity
started
of certain
experimenting with.
spectrums.
And the version of their steam engine, their first product,
all right.
was something that operated like this. And actually, when they came to Earth to look around, or whatever, they were amazed at the stuff we were doing. These guys burned stuff and squirted out the back to go forward.
Let's move along here. Now, I like to think about the Carl Sagan universe loaf into this pipe and how you do the Doomslayer, and equally like there's a wave to these things being inslit, just because I caught it in here, Carl Sagan. And the kids of the Pensrose, they're stars. They're a wave function where I'm trying to get some gravity through, but I'm changing the confinement unit to dark matter. It's like, how do you handle it? How do you handle out all that on a time space to all the pipe works and the offset of figuring out what is it to feed the large hadron or some nuclear reactor, right? A fusion or a fission reactor that has another one feed it the type of durium, or not durium, the type of element that it needs because it produces at a high level, and then we burn it there a little more officially, which produces another type of element. But that's the kind of roundabout you have to go because the Hadron Collider doesn't necessarily factor that FMA through that set, because I do it in training because those are in the pipes and it starts to heat, light, and sound, do some crazy stuff. And again, that's still regulatory faculties of, well, right now I could physics the Taj Mahal out of this, but it's a lot of gravity tear down. I have to get the phone book out, look up a dozer operator. That's real field theory. Fog, Nuke, and Mars, right, Carl? Then you got, again, turn to YBCO, probably not afraid to hang in a foxhole, you know what I mean? Work the front line, definitely earning it here today for what he is doing. Back to another video that I did, on there, for what that notation represents. Catch you on the next one.